the voice of your community. 107.3 HFM.
And welcome back to HFM 107.3, the voice of your community. Today we're at the Armidale Let's Connect exhibition, expo, should I say, in Armidale, and we're going to be wrapping up at 4 o'clock. But before we do that, we have, I think, two more guests, the first of which is Sandy from Injury Matters. Welcome, Sandy. How are you doing?
Good, thanks, James. Thanks for having me along today.
It's absolutely our pleasure. Would you like to tell us about what your organisation and you do?
Well, I've got to say, first time I've got it wrong twice now. So first of all, I thought Injury Matters was a legal firm, which it's not. It's in the wrong place to be one. And secondly, Sandy's got this fun thing here that says stay on your feet. And it's like, wow, I've got a teenager that needs to learn that. Reduce your alcohol consumption, stay on your feet, don't fall over. But that's also not what you're trying to get across as a message.
Yeah, that's not our main population group. But you're right, I am from Injury Matters, and Injury Matters actually is a non-for-profit organisation in Western Australia, and we look at everything to do with injury. So anything from poisons, burns, water safety, there's a whole range of things we look at, and in particular today we're talking about staying on your feet, which is the older adult population of over 65-year-olds.
Because that's a very significant problem, isn't it? You know, once that balance tends to go, if you fall over, suddenly you've got difficulty accessing a phone to get help, you've got injuries that can take a long time to heal, suddenly you might end up in hospital which you weren't expecting to. It's like, it really can be the start of a whole process of unfortunate events.
Yeah.
So
it is.
How do you encourage people to stay on their feet?
Well, sadly, 1 in 3 over the age of 65 do have a fall every year. So it is
every year.
Every year. So we are really, really trying to get the message out is that falls are preventable. It's not something that's just a life stage that you may hear people talk about having a fall, and it's not something that has to happen. They are preventable. So the Stay on Your Feet program has been around for over 20 years, and we are actually visiting people in community groups. We are supporting people with resources to be able to know how to do those things that will prevent a fall.
So share some of those things with us. What sort of things are we talking about?
So the main campaign is, we've got 3 parts of the campaign, and they are split up into Move Your Body, Improve Your Health, and Remove Hazards.
Right.
So the Move Your Body components are talking about things like strengthening your legs and improving your balance and making sure that you maintain your balance once you've actually built it. Mm-hmm. The Improve Your Health modules go through checking your medicines, because as we age, our body changes.
Yes.
And our medications that we might have been on a year or even longer ago may not actually work as effectively. Puts us a little bit of off balance, and there's the potential for falls. We also know that keeping a healthy mind is really important, and our cognitive health. So again, with falls, cognition, being able to catch yourself, having that sort of mind to be able to balance, I suppose, and strengthen as well. And then the last component of Improve Your Health is fueling your body. So making sure we've got nutritious nutrients, and we're having a healthy diet. We're having a wide variety of nutrients in our diet. The third part of the campaign is removing hazards, and we encourage people to take home our home safety checklist to make their home safer. And it's something tangible they can take home. Listeners, actually, if they're interested, they can actually go online and have a look at this home safety checklist, or you can ring us and actually get any of these things I'm talking about today sent out directly to your home address for free.
Are we talking about things that you would generally think are fairly self-explanatory or kind of fairly obvious, but aren't necessarily?
Yes, some of those things are self-explanatory, like rugs that you may have on the ground because in winter it's a bit cold on your tiles underfoot. But some of the other things are less obvious, and it might just be that there's lighting not in the hall, like there's not a sensor light as you get up to go to the loo during the night.
Yeah.
That light doesn't flick on. And maybe if your medication's not right and you're a little bit dizzy and you have a fall, there's no lighting there to be able to alert you to the fact that the corner's coming up, something like that.
Well, even different lighting can give you shadows in places that can suddenly look like it's a step when it's not, or something like that. That can be quite difficult.
Absolutely.
So, should we just do a little plug here for people who've got things like Google and they can ask that to turn on lights?
Yes. Mm-hmm. In fact, it's really interesting you bring that up, because some people have the Medic Alert, if they know that they're at risk. Mm-hmm. But for some people that can't afford that, or for some reason they're not wearing it, those Google home units actually are a really good backup to be able to shout out and say, hey Google, ring so-and-so.
That's right.
And we forget about those little things. Yeah, exactly right. And having that in your settings.
Yeah.
Same thing with a smartphone or maybe a smart watch if they have that. All these little tips and tricks. We've now got the technology. We forget that they could actually apply to people that are, the older adults that may need that.
And I think even for the not quite so old adults yet, you need to be accustomed to those things or getting accustomed to those things. The time to do that is now.
Yeah.
My mum, who has dementia and as it is at risk of falls, she has a Google Home that she can talk to only because she wanted to be able to play Elvis whenever she asked it to.
Oh, I love it.
And now she's at the point that she can actually ask Google what the day is over and over and over again, and Google doesn't get anywhere near as upset as my dad does. So,
yeah, I
but
love that.
those things are going to help progress the way to be able to call out if you have a fall.
Absolutely.
So, and they're not that expensive. So if you've got a relative that's actually in that situation, think about it. Coming up for Christmas or a Mother's Day or something, try and get that first one in and find a reason why they might like to use it, because then you've got all these other purposes that you can use it for as well.
That's a great point. Yeah, absolutely.
Taking away from you though.
No, you're fine. You actually did say no, and things like, around the house, it might be the garden hose that you always just, coil
Just
up in the
leave it
same
on the
part of
desk
the...
or something, yeah.
and just annoyingly so, and you look at it and you think, geez, that's annoying, but a checklist just helps you actually get to those things. If you can't get to it, you put it on your fridge, maybe the grandson comes over and you say, hey, would you mind ticking this off for me? I need to actually have this on a hook, or I need to have it out of the way. So it's not just saying that you've got a whole lot of stuff to do around the house, it's actually enabling others to help you.
And that's another, I think, good tip is there's nothing better than actually ringing up your kid and saying, hey, I'm about to go up the ladder to check the gutters. Do you reckon you can come over for a coffee and watch me?
Yeah.
Because they'll come over instantly
Yes.
and sit and have a coffee with you while they probably do it as well.
Very good point.
We were talking to Trevor last night, and
Yes,
Trevor
yes.
was down at the local newsagent telling the lady at the newsagent he was going to go home and get up on the ladder. And he's like, 92. And she's like, don't do it. And he's like, I'm quite offended. She told me not to. And it's like, okay, but you understand, right?
Yeah.
And he does. But it's just nice having somebody else around if you're going to do something like that.
Oh, for sure. And people want to help, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And you want to give credit to people who are 92 and still feel that they can comfortably climb a ladder.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Because at the end of the day, all of this program is around making sure and enabling people to live independently in their homes longer.
Yes, and still be able to get out there and do some gardening or, being able to look after yourself and do the things you enjoy.
Yeah. Yep.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Have
Sandy,
we- Yes. Go on, Kate.
we're going to ask the same question. How do people get in touch with you if they want to?
So please feel free to call us. We have a 1300 number. So that's 1300 30 35 40.
Yeah.
That has to be like 1300 30 35 40.
Thank
That's
you.
a great number. Great number. I don't know how much you paid for that, but it's worth it.
And you have a website?
We do, and it's www.stayonyourfeet.com.au.
All one word?
That is all one word, stayonyourfeet.com.au.
Or what you could do is you could Google "stay on your feet" space minus alcohol, and it will then get you to the right website.
You're actually just reminding me, that alcohol is one of the things we're talking about at the moment, because we're right in a campaign period of improve your health.
Yep.
And during that campaign, we actually talk about fueling your body with nutritious foods, because we know that if you were to have a fall, you want to make sure you're not having a fracture. And so how do we keep our bones healthy? Ensuring that we have the right...
Wine juice doesn't count anymore.
Wine juice doesn't count, no.
Sorry, grape juice.
Sparkling water with that dash of lime, that's what counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's actually calcium, making sure you've got good food sources of those things to be able to keep your body healthy, to give you enough energy. So again, feeling dizzy and a little bit off balance, just making sure that you're fueling your body. When you get home from a big event, you're tired, you haven't got that energy, you haven't got your balance, your cognitive function may be a bit declined, but making sure vitamin D and calcium are very, very important for our intake.
Yes.
But we also talk about fluid, which brings me to the alcohol part,
yes.
is that often as we age and we're retired, and that's a nice time of the life, right, where we can sit back, we might catch up with friends a bit more regularly, just ensuring that our medications are actually reviewed every year, and making sure that as our body ages, the medications are also in alignment with what we need. But knowing that medications, maybe a sleeping tablet and maybe alcoholic drinks don't mix. And
Yeah, well, when you retire, the idea of going from coffee in the morning and cappuccinos in midday and then wine in the evening sounds nice, but all of those dehydrate you, don't
Yes.
they? And dehydration can actually cause some serious issues that can lead to falls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes, I'm supporting the idea of drinking water, at
Yep.
least in between.
yeah, so tips and tricks on that
Yes.
and about how to reduce alcohol consumption, how to increase your fluid. We have lots and lots of resources online, so I really urge your listeners to hop online and have a look. And if they are part of an organisation, they think, geez, she's talking our language. We've had a few people have falls recently. We actually have a peer education volunteer program, and our peer educators will come out and actually deliver a 45-minute presentation on all the things you can do to stay on your feet.
That sounds brilliant.
And that's fairly easily accessible through the website, I guess.
It is. There's a big button there that says book your free presentation. If you were to have a look in our website, you'll find that. And if not, give us a call. Happy to guide you.
Yeah. 1300 30 35
Yeah.
40.
Aha.
I remembered it.
Wow.
Stayonyourfeet.com.au.
It is
Minus
exactly
alcohol.
right.
Yep. Thank you so much,
Thanks so
Sandy.
much, Sandy.
It's been a
Thanks for
pleasure
having
having
me.
you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
HFM 107.3,
The voice of your community.